Welcome, friends. I'm so happy to bring to you today this video on abdominal massage because it's just so healing on so many levels. I do it to myself every day. I'm going to have a video on this channel that I do it to myself, but I want to show you today how I do abdominal massage on other people. And I want to direct your attention in that light to this book, Tsang by Taoist master Mantak Chias. This was the first book I ever read by Master Chias, and it turned me on to the whole practice of the Tao. And I subsequently became certified as I'm now a full Healing Tao instructor. There's an associate, full, and then senior. I'm actually very close to senior. I just need a few more certifications for that, Tai Chi and some other things, but I'm already ready to test, and on and on and on. But bottom line, this book is such a storehouse of information. I'm currently getting certified as an acupuncturist, and the information that I knew from this book, this is like doctor level, face reading, pulse diagnosis, it's all in here, to the degree, quite frankly, where most people read this book and they get a little intimidated by the amount of information, because it is a very medical level. So what I'm going to do for you today, and I want to be clear, I've taken Tsang from two instructors, first Marie Favorito on the East Coast, and then from Jampa Mackenzie Stewart in Austin, and I recommend those teachers very, very highly for this practice. There's other Healing Tao instructors that are certified in Tsang. Even though I've been practicing Tsang for over a decade, I just want to be clear that I'm not yet certified. I'm in it, okay? So I'm not going to teach you Tsang. What I'm going to do is show you what I do on my clients, okay? Just to be very clear. Now, the techniques are from this book, and I'm going to tell you right now which page numbers those are, but just out of respect for Master Chias and the Healing Tao, Universal Healing Tao lineage, I want to be very clear that I'm not certified in this practice, so I'm not teaching it to you, I'm just showing you what I do, okay? So the first thing we do is examination of the navel. I'm just going to show you real quick here in the book what I'll show you physically on my subject or my recipient here in a minute. But we do examination of the navel, and notice there's like 8 arrows here. What this actually represents, I've shown this to you before, is the Bagua, okay? You want to look at the navel and you want to notice which direction the navel is pulling. And if you read it, it's on page 123, 124, you'll notice all these different pictures of the navel. But bottom line, is it pulling up? Is it pulling down? Is it pulling left, to the right, or to one of the 4 corners, just like the Bagua? And that'll indicate, and you can read all the books on what that indicates, but simple of the simple, if it's pulling upward, that's generally like me as a fire type, generally in balance with fire. If it's pulling down, water, kidneys, so when I work on more water types, the more rubenesque types, you might say, generally water types are a little bit rounder, fire type, whatever. I don't want to get too deep, but bottom line, first thing we do, navel examination. And without getting long-winded on what all of that means, just quite simply, there's usually tension in whatever direction it's pulling. So my navel usually pulls up. I usually have some tension in the solar plexus. Some of my friends, they're like more water types, it's pulling down. They have tension below the navel, and so forth. So first at the first, you just look at the navel, and which direction the navel is pulling is going to tell you a lot about that person, okay? So that's the first thing we're going to do is navel examination. Then the next, and there's a lot of other things in here, hand scanning and on, but again, I'm going to just streamline this. This is going to be maybe 5-10 minute sequence. I'm just showing you first where it's coming from in the book and then how I practice it, okay? Then I'm going to do what's called skin detoxification. It's on page 165, okay? Skin detox, all right? There's all these bookmarks in here for you, falling out. That's just a real simple kind of warming up the navel. Again, I'll show that to you, warming up the skin. It's very light pressure. Then it gets into my favorite technique in this whole book. And if you were just to learn one, I recommend this. 167. It's actually between this. There's 2 of my favorite. This is one of 2. And I'm going to show you both. Or show you how I practice both. Again, out of respect for the lineage. On page 167, it says spiraling technique. And here's a picture of what it looks like. You see the spiraling technique around the navel? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start below the navel, and just to show you real quick what it'll look like on me, you start below the navel, you make clockwise circles, which is down the left, up the right, down the left, up the right. So my navel's right here. So I'm just below the navel, and you make clockwise circles, either with your fingers, your thumbs, or sometimes I use like my knuckles. And then you're going to go clockwise around the navel, just how that shows, making spirals. So that's clockwise, you can see that, going around the navel in that direction, while you're making little spirals. You see that? This is like just incredible. I mean, there's no adjective to describe how amazing this technique is, because no matter where the tension is, up, right, left, down, or the corners, up, down, left, right, did I say that right? Anyway, wherever the tension's at, you're going to get it with this technique, just making those spirals, and you slowly just spiral, 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 spiral. Incredible, okay? The spiraling technique. And then the scooping technique, and I actually usually begin this, I'll do this before the spiraling, just to open up. You'll see when I actually do it on the recipient, it's listed in the book why I said spiraling first, then they do scooping. But I actually usually do scooping first because it's a little bit more superficial, less deep, where you basically just press back and forth. It's kind of like a wave. You get on the side of the person and you go back and forth and you just kind of open everything up. Then I do the spiraling, because the spiraling I usually go a little bit deeper. Okay? So I'm going to do the scooping technique, the spiraling technique, and then I'm going to do the rocking technique, which is just kind of put your hands and you just kind of rock the navel a little bit like this. Rock the navel, rock the navel. And again, you'll see all this, but I'm just introducing. The rocking technique is described on page 171. Moving right along, before I tell you along with spiraling technique, my other most favorite technique in this book, one other one that I use just as a warm-up, and I bookmarked it. Where is that? It's called he calls it the figure 5 technique. Come on, I bookmarked it. Where is that? There it is. Yeah, figure 5 technique. So basically, and you'll see this, but it's on page 183. You just do you make a 5. You just make a 5. And basically what that does is it gets the spleen over here, and then you're just kind of spiraling. It's just a really nice spiraling technique. I'll show you. But the last thing I want to direct your attention to in this book, before I have my recipient come and lay down here, and I just show you how I do all this, is along with the spiraling technique, my most favorite technique in this book. And if you saw the self-abdominal massage that I put on this channel, it's the one where I did kind of the Bagua. It's called Opening the Wind Gates. It's on page 148. And the way they describe it in this book is exceedingly detailed, with using a certain number of, there's this whole number sequence on how to, each point you're going to go around the navel in the shape of the Bagua, and you hold it for this number of points, and this number of points, and this number of pulsations of the heartbeat, and it changes per day, and you can get into that. I do it, it's a great technique. Like I said, go train with John Mackenzie Stewart or Marie Favorito or others if you want the full, and this is medical of the medical. There's people on the West Coast, I forget the gentleman's name, in San Francisco. Anyway, there's a lot of people that do, but the simple of the simple, I'm just going to press in the shape of the Bagua without counting. I'm just going to hold it intuitively, how long I think each point needs, counterclockwise. Okay? So again, if we have the Bagua here, you do the point below the navel, and then we're just going to go counterclockwise. The point below the navel, to the left, above, to the right, the point below the navel again, and then you just do the 4 corners. Lower left corner, upper left corner, upper right corner, lower right corner, and then this actually isn't in the book, but then I just do the navel center itself, kind of like fusion of the 5 elements. The shirt that I'm wearing alludes to that practice, very powerful practice that I endorse very highly and I'm certified to teach. That one I'm certified to teach. You put the palm right over the navel, and then it all comes into the center, okay? So we're going to get into all of that. And then in the end, I might get into a little small intestine work. We'll see how much time we have. But like I said, I just want to streamline this, and I just want to underline one last time, for the sake of intention, because law is governed by intention, both local and cosmic. I am not teaching you Qinei Tsang. I am just showing you what I do in my personal practice, because it's given me so much benefit in helping people, and I think it'll help you. But I do recommend, with the utmost earnestness, that if you're interested in this practice, you go train with somebody who is certified, like John Mackenzie Stewart and or Marie Favorito. Okay? So without further ado, let's have my recipient come and lay down here on the mat. I know you can't see my face, but here it is. And I just wanted to show you from this angle, because you'll be able to see what I'm doing. It's all about the navel, okay? So the first thing, as I mentioned, you probably do want to lower that, and just down a little bit so you can access all these points. Examination of the navel, okay? So I just want to notice, is it pulling up, down, left or right, or to the corners? And my recipient, like myself, is fire type, so there's a kind of gentle upward pull. You have to imagine the navel as a little button, we call belly button, right? which direction is that button pulling? So there's kind of like a little upward pull, which is why you can see, like if you're underneath there, you can see it pulling this way, which is why there's that little kind of shape there where you can see it pulling. You can see it. If that shape that you're seeing above the navel was below, that would indicate a downward pull. If that shape, kind of like that little crescent, was on this side, that would indicate that it's pulling that way. If it was on this side, it's pulling that way. So wherever you see that little crescent, you know, if it's pulling this way, it's usually a spleen issue. This way would be liver. Left or to the right would be the left or right kidney. Above is heart. Below is usually like more kidney stuff. Sometimes it's pulling one of these directions because this has to do with where the large intestine connects to the small intestine, and here's where it comes from the large intestine out to the rectum. So anyway, wherever it's pulling, you can kind of focus on that area. So that's the first thing, visual examination of the navel. Now what I'm going to do, this isn't in the book either, but I call this Bagua Diagnosis. I just want to feel above and below the navel and see if my visual diagnosis is correct. Oh, I feel tension above the navel, so I'm going to press on the navel above and below at the same time. And I do feel more tension on the top up here than I do down here. Okay? So I was correct in that. Alright? I feel a little more tension above, and it's just real easy. You feel above and below. Which one feels more tense, more congested, maybe hotter or something like that, you'll be able to feel. And I definitely feel more tension above the navel than below. So we know we're going to be focusing on this with our spiraling technique and so forth. Left and to the right of the navel. I'll adjust my body here for this one if I need to. Okay. Left and to the right. They're about the same. I might feel a tiny bit more tension on her left side, which would be left kidney yin. So I might spend a little bit more time on there when I go around, just kind of easing that tension. So that's top, bottom, left, right. Now the cross corners, you want to do these two first, these two last. So feeling this. Okay. Those are about the same. Feeling a little bit here, which is kind of, most people I work on, I feel that small intestine connecting large intestine. That's usually a big blockage there, so we'll work there a little bit. And then above and below. And same thing below. Here, I also feel these two corners, I feel a tiny bit of tension, which I feel on almost every single body that I've done. And every bodywork session, and I've done thousands in the past 10 years. I've only done, or longer, 15, 16 years. I've done Chias Tsang on every single one of them. And almost every one of them has tension in these two corners, okay? So visual examination of the navel. Now I've done I call my Bagua Diagnosis, top, bottom, left, right, and cross corners, okay? Now I'm going to start laying hands on the body. You can do this dry, but I do like it with a little bit of, sometimes I'll even tuck this in here. I like it with a little bit of oil for reasons you'll see, okay? Oh, and another thing, let's bring your feet up a little bit. You can put a pillow under their knees. Right now we're just going to leave it like this, but you can put a pillow under the knees because that'll take pressure off of here and you'll be able to penetrate a little bit deeper. Okay? So have them raise their knees up like that. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of oil here. Just got some grapeseed oil. Don't need too much. Okay? I'm keeping my body, even though you can't see it, my spine is straight. I've got good body mechanics. And I just want to rub the oil in a little bit. I like to make a spiral. And then I'm going to start right away with skin detoxification, which is just a very gentle, almost like a kneading, almost. It's almost finger pressure, or excuse me, feather finger pressure. It's very, very light. So I'm just doing some very light skin detoxification, feather pressure with the fingers, just to loosen up. Because Chias Tsang can get very, very deep, and abdominal massage in general. They taught me some very similar abdominal massage when I learned massage in Thailand, but Chias Tsang is by far the most comprehensive system of it I've ever seen. The Shiatsu people get into it pretty deeply as well, but Chias Tsang, I have to say, from what I've seen, okay, what I've been exposed to, is the king of abdominal massage. Okay, so you're just doing a little bit of this, skin detoxification, all right? Then I do the what was it called? The wave technique, I think we called it. Or was it kneading? I can't remember which one we call this one, because there's kneading, which is more like this. I think it was the wave technique, because you're making a wave. Pretty sure that's what we called it. And you're just going like this. This is the second thing I do. Skin detox, and then the wave. where I press with my heel of my palm. I'm just pressing. So imagine the large intestine is here. You've got one line here, one line here. You're pressing on one line with your palm, and you're pressing the other with your fingers. And this one they do in Thai massage. I've seen this in so many. It's not just in any one lineage. It's just so well known. I've even seen this in Western massage. Okay? So press, release, press, release. Obviously you want to have one on empty stomach if possible. Okay? There we go. Alright, so the wave technique. Now that'll create some nice openness. And then I'll start with my one of two favorites, as I said, the spiraling technique. You're just going to make spirals starting with the navel going clockwise and then moving clockwise, much slower than this, but basically you make larger and larger spirals going out. Larger and larger and larger, spending more time in areas that were tight. So we noticed these two areas were tight, we noticed a little bit of bug was tight, spleen a little bit tight, okay? So in the way in the book, and the way I was taught, they do like this. You can do that. That's a great technique. But what I like to do, because most of my clients like it deeper, is I like to actually use my knuckles, and I do a loose fist, and then I do extra pressure here if I need it, and I just spiral. Spiral. And then I go around the navel, slowly. Yeah, so here's kind of tight, because we felt that over here. The small intestine meets the large. Oh, see, I'm feeling some alignments in there, kind of some breaking up, there's some tension. Okay, now on the right side of the navel, this will be like right kidney area. So again, I'm just going like this, and I'm just doing it with my knuckles. That's all I'm doing. And then I'm going to the upper right liver area, not too bad here. So above, I definitely notice some tension here. They have high blood pressure, and check with your doctor before you do all this stuff, but high blood pressure in particular, be very mindful at the solar plexus, because this is the fire point. Remember, pulls up, it's fire, pulls down, it's water. This is for fire, so don't overdo it if they're got high blood pressure. Same thing, a little bit of spleen tension. If they're thinking a lot, spleen connects with the thinking faculty, so if they're like overthinking, worry, too much thinking, they might have a tense spleen, so you can press here a little bit. Now we notice some tension on the right side of the navel. I'm still feeling that. Kind of like a little knot. You just spiral it. And go into there. They start getting real tense. Just go feather pressure. You can even go back to this. But most of my clients like a little bit deeper. So that's why I like to use this knuckles. Okay? Lower, keep your head down. Lower left-hand corner. Sometimes people want to raise their head and look, but that makes this tight. So have them keep their head relaxed. Like a crunch, right? You lift your head up. And you're spiraling. Lower left-hand corner. Really open that up. Really, really good. If people are plugged up, can't go to the bathroom, do this point. Okay? And then below again. So that was kind of like one, and then you're just going to go out. Sorry, that was fast. Ticklish. And then you're just going to go out. So we started here, we went all the way in one circle, then you just make a bigger circle. And I'll go quicker here now just so you can, we can move on, but that's really all that we do. We're just making progressively larger and larger spirals. And wherever you notice tension, like I feel some tension, yeah, still here a little bit. I'll spend some more time there. But you can see why I love this. It's just so user-friendly. You're moving in the language of a spiral, which all energy in the known universe moves in a spiral. And you're mirroring that shape in your practice. And it feels so good, and it's easy for me. I'm not pressing hard at all. I mean, I'm firm, but not like so hard like deep tissue or anything. Is that too hard? Okay. And slowly going in a circle. Okay, and then you get larger and larger, and you just keep going, and keep going, and keep going. You can see how I can take a lot of time with that one, okay? So, we did our spiraling technique. Now, what I'm going to show you, just to bring it back to some relaxation, is the rocking technique. That one's the rocking, so this one was the wave. Yeah, go ahead and relax your legs. You got to have that pillow under there, but it's fine for now with this. The wave technique, because it looks like a wave, okay? And then we did spiraling. Now the rocking, you just want to kind of do this. Because that spiraling technique, you can go deep, so you want to make sure this is all relaxed. So I do some rocking, just to make sure it's all open. Just kind of gentle rocking. I like this rhythm. Yeah, there we go. And I've got my thumbs digging in here gently, and my fingers here, kind of like almost we did with that wave, but it's more of a rocking now. And you let the weight of their body just kind of let them rock. I'll loosen this back up because what I'm going to do now is the deepest part of this session, which is chasing the winds. Below the navel, left, above to the right, below the navel again, and then lower corner, lower corner, and then I usually just put my palm right over the center, okay? Now the way they do it in the book is with the thumbs. And you just press the thumbs on the navel, and it's kind of this feeling of kind of pushing away from the navel, that kind of thing. You can also use your fingers, okay? But again, I like the knuckles. I really like the knuckles because it's broader and it's easier for me. And so first of all, it's broader, so it's not so pokey on them. But try it out. You know, go with the book, and as I said, go get trained with everybody. Even Master Chi has free videos on YouTube, Tsang. But we're almost done, by the way. As I said, to keep this short. But you can use thumbs, fingers, or knuckles, as I said. So I'm going to use my knuckles. Press right in here below the navel, and I'm going to press till I feel the pulse, and I'm just going to hold it. Press and hold, and kind of this feeling as I release the pressure of pulling away from the navel, okay? Same thing over here. Pressing in. Got the pulse. So I'm just to the left of her navel. Yeah, this one you can usually feel the aortic pulse the strongest. Right there, the left of the navel, the recipient's left, okay? And then kind of pushing away. Same thing above. Sometimes you have to adjust your body a little bit. Pressing here. You can just see I'm right above the navel, kind of as close to the navel as I can get. And then drop in till you feel the pulse. Nice, slow application of pressure and release. Don't release the pressure too strong. And then slowly. It's really just downward pressure and kind of moving away, but there's this subtle awareness. Once I've applied the pressure, I slowly go in of kind of moving it away from the navel, okay? Because this gets all cramped in here, okay? Now this side. Pressing down. You see how I'm doing that? I'll do a very gentle movement, but mostly it's just static pressure and release. Okay, now we're below the navel again. We're halfway there. Press right below the navel. And if they start getting tense, you just back the pressure off. If they're fighting you, it's defeating the purpose, so relax it, okay? Okay, and release. Now the four corners. Lower left-hand corner of the recipient. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. Upper left-hand corner. To adjust your position a little bit, you can just go like this. Oh yeah, really good one. You'll feel stuff moving around, and don't be discouraged because that's a good sign. And kind of, I'm almost like I can feel so much alignments in there, and I keep just kind of moving towards the navel a little more, and then pushing that. It's just this subtle pressure pushing away from the navel. So it's mostly static pressure, but there's this subtle awareness of pushing it away from the navel. Okay, same thing. Drop in. Yeah, I feel the pulse really well. Okay. And then right here. So this is a counterclockwise flow. So they call this chasing the winds. So the food goes clockwise. It's like you're chasing it, and you're going back and unwinding any of that tension. You can also do this sequence clockwise, but for Chin Tsang proper, it's done counterclockwise. Okay, and now this isn't in the book, but what I like to do is I just put my palm right over the navel, and I like to sink right down on that by itself. So they can kind of feel all those areas of the Bagua, up, down, left, right, and the four corners coming into the center. So it's really nice, just right over the navel for the last one of chasing the winds, okay? Now the last thing I want to show you Maybe the last two things I want to show you real quick. I mentioned this technique. It's a real good technique you can just do in the context of any massage. It's called the figure 5 technique. So if you imagine a 5 right here, right underneath the rib cage, and then you go down and you make a circle, that's the 5. You just here, and then you spiral around, okay? So it's really nice. You just go like this. You kind of put your hand here on the spleen, and you go like this, and then you just make a nice big circle, scooping your fingers, and I even come all the way back up here. Make sure your nails are short so I'm not digging into them underneath that rib cage, and you do it again. Just feeling pulling, drawing out any tension in the spleen, and then you're just kind of spiraling figure 5, okay? Figure 5. Really, really good. I really like that after chasing the winds too, because it just went counterclockwise, kind of reset the system, you might say. And you can do both hands if you need more pressure, but you usually don't need too much pressure on this one. Sometimes here I'll add a little extra finger pressure as I come around the bend. Okay, but you can see that real easy figure 5. And just real quick on the subject of underneath, and I said, I'm cheating, it's like high level medical stuff, so I am just so grazing the surface, all right, just so you know. But you can really get underneath. Here you got spleen on the left, liver on the right, on their sides, okay? You can get under here and kind of make circles, okay? Usually do this, and again, make sure your nails are short, and make these circles under here. You'll notice a lot of tension, you know, liver, huge organ for detox, emotional processing and so forth. Same thing over here. You can use your thumbs even. Really amazing. I do this on myself a lot. And you can even just scoop it. Just kind of go under there with your thumbs like this. Sometimes if I'm working on bigger people and they need more pressure, I'll even use my knuckles like this and get underneath there. Incredible stuff, all right? Now, the last thing I want to show you before we close this party is a technique it's actually not in, I learned this in Shiatsu. It's called the 9-point palm sequence. You do 1, 2 points above the navel, 1, 2, 1 below, and then you just go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This lower left-hand corner of the recipient gets 3, because sometimes I'll just press this. If people are constipated, it's all about, for the most part, tension between, well, it's a big picture, but a lot of times I'll say this, is that it's the connection between the large intestine and the rectum. It's tight right here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with your palm. Real easy. And sometimes if I'm just going to do one thing of abdominal massage, and I don't have time for everything I just showed you, I'll just do the 9-point sequence like 3 times, all right? So 9 palm sequence. Press in the solar plexus, again mindful if they have any type of high blood pressure, okay? Press it, and then you can time it with their breath too. So take a deep breath, and then as they exhale, you apply the pressure, okay? So there's 2 points above the navel, and 1 below, nice deep breath, and exhale, okay? And sink down below the navel. Okay, and then I'm just going to do the lower right-hand corner. Upper left-hand corner, or upper right, excuse me. And then upper left now. And then lower right for 3 palms. So just go 1, 2, 3. Some nice alignments there. And still kind of this feeling of the palm kind of pushing from the navel away. That's very key. It's so subtle, it's almost imperceptible. Kind of like, you know, when I hear Tony Robbins talking about flying a helicopter, it's such a subtle adjustment of the hand. It's a similar thing here. It's so subtle. The second point here, right in the middle, so like 1, 2, 3, right in the middle, of this subtle awareness of dropping in, and it's almost like I'm slowly pushing away from the navel, trying to create this space between this point and the navel. You'll feel it. You just got to feel it out. Play around with it, okay? And 1 more. Good. And then just like in the and then I would probably just do some spiraling. Sometimes we do a patting technique where you pat the navel. But this spiraling is really nice. I usually just kind of spiral, and then I'll hold. I'll put 1 hand underneath the navel, 1 hand behind the back, the low back, and 1 over the navel, and just kind of help them collect the energy. Just feel them kind of concentrated, because this will open up so much. You always want to feel, help them feel that concentration in the navel. Just like we always spiral and collect our energy into a pearl behind the navel in the Tao, so it collects here, okay, when you finish up your sequence of meditation in the case of personal cultivation, or also here in the case of working on others. So there you have it, my friends. Again, I'm not instructing you, I'm just showing you what I do. And that was so fast I can't even begin to just underline how this process you could take hours doing Chin and Tsang. And that was just Chin and Tsang 1, and there's Chin and Tsang 2. I mean, that chasing the winds, you can do it with your thumbs, you can do it with your fingers, you can do it with your knuckles like I did, you can do it with your elbows. Sometimes I have people stepping on me, like I'll have their heel kind of doing all the points. It's a very advanced practice. You can go train with Master Chias in Thailand, incredible center, Tao Garden. He also has many free videos online. Just type in Chi Net Tsang. Internal organ massage is what that means. It's just Chi Net Tsang, and he has the full-on stuff. Go check it out. But I just wanted to give you like a streamlined version of how I practice it. Super streamlined. I do a lot more. I work on the small intestine. I usually trace the large intestine at the end to kind of help move everything out. But the main things I do are just to summarize, and then we'll close out and let you go about your day, is I examine the navel. I feel around the navel in the shape of the Bagua. So in the case of my recipient, I saw there was a little upward pull, and I felt it, okay, there was a little upward pull, okay. Then we did skin detoxification, okay. Then I did that wave technique, spiraling, okay, we did spiraling. Then I did rocking to bring it back to relaxation. Then I did chasing the winds, going around the navel counterclockwise. Then I did the figure 5 technique, just to reiterate the clockwise and kind of bring it back to relaxation. We dug underneath the rib cage a little bit, okay? And then I did the 9-point sequence with the palms, which again, that's Shiatsu style. But this is all, the Asian styles, they kind of merge from the same root, or emerge from the same root, okay? So I really appreciate you tuning in and see how you feel. And I strongly recommend that you watch the video. If I haven't already posted it, it'll be coming very soon. The self-abdominal massage. In fact, I would even start with that, because most people, if you haven't done massage on people before, on the abdomen, you'll be like, what? You just, when things start aligning, you'll feel all kinds of stuff move around. Master Chia, even, and some of the bigger masters, they'll realign the uterus and stuff. I mean, there's incredible stuff you can do. So when you do your self-abdominal massage, you'll feel what it's supposed to feel like. You'll feel how deep you can go and what the effects are. So when you start holding space for others, doing it on others, it'll be very helpful. And I also recommend checking out the self-care techniques that I put on here, the grounding of the iron shirt, and even the orbit. You want to run your orbit when you're working on people. Like I said, it's a huge system. I'm just totally grazing the surface, but I think it'll be helpful for you, and I hope you enjoy this. So practice well, be well, my friends. See you next time.